So you can start.
So welcome to today's session. As I said earlier, we will be recapping on HTML and we have a short coding challenge, okay, after which we would publish our website using GitHub pages. So I want us to know that there are different code editors, okay, and you can find some online. It's not only VS Code that is available. There are other platforms like CodePen.io, Code Sandbox, and the Code Share. So when I send this slide to you, you'll be able to access it. When you click on it, it will take you to the platform. For today, I'm just going to show you CodePen, okay, how it looks like, and we'll come back to our VS Code to do the challenges. So I'm opening the CodePen now. Okay, this is how it looks. Okay, so I'll just create a new pen here. Because I'm just concentrating on the HTML, I'm just going to minimize the CSS and then JavaScript. Okay, we will just have some brief intro and we can continue. What we are going to do is something like this. Okay, so we have a title and then the horizontal rule, which is centered. We are going to do a simple thing like this with the CodePen. Okay, so I'm just going to write it here. We have the adventures of Sherlock. So I'll just write the title. The adventures. And then by, what's his name? Sir Arthur. Okay, so I have the test here and you can see the results as you are coding here. Okay, so I just have this, but when you see this, the title of the book is bold. It's bigger than the rest of the text. Can you see that?
Yes, please.
Yes. So this is the largest heading, okay, which is H1. So I'll just bring H1. We have your opening, the angular bracket, and then H1. Then you close it. When I do something like this, it affects the whole thing. You see, now everything is bolding, but I don't want everything to be H1, okay, to be level 1. I just want the name of the book. So I'll close it here. And when you are closing, you need your angle bracket, a / and then the H1. So now you realize that only that part is has the big heading. Do you see that? Okay. And now when you see the by and then the author's name, you realize that this is also bigger than the by. So this would be H2 heading and this would be H3. So I'm just going to do something here. I want it to be on different pages just for readability sake. So I'll just do my H2 and close it here. In case you don't understand anything, kindly let me know. Okay. Okay, this is supposed to be H3 instead. Oh, H3. Okay. and here H4, the closing tag, then H2. Okay, so now we are getting something similar to what we have here. Are you seeing? The title of the book bigger, which is the biggest, and then the author's name is a bit bigger. It's smaller than the first one, so the H1 is the biggest. Then you see it's reducing in size. So when I try something like H4 here, it becomes smaller. So you'll be keeping note of it, like, what is it doing? So H4 becomes very small. The last is H6. So when I try H6, you see how the bar becomes very small. So someone might say, what about H10? Can we have something like H10? So the person would do, I want a very tiny heading. So when I try H10, it doesn't even bolding again. That means there's no H10. But how will you know there's no H10? Okay. So last section, I was talking about documentation. You need documentations to know the type of heading, like the type of elements available for us to use. So when I search for, I'm working on heading. Okay, so heading, and I'm doing HTML. And one of the documentation that we have is MDN, which is Mozilla Developer Network. Okay, it has documentations of everything. So when I check this first link, you see H1 to H6. Okay, so let me just open it and okay. So now you know that H1 is the highest and then H6 is the lowest. Okay. And they even go further to give you examples like how it works, how it looks. So when you have H1 to H6, this is how it will be like. Okay. So that is the use of documentations. It helps you know what elements are available to use and which elements are not available. Do you get it?
Yes, please.
Sure. So the next thing that we have is the horizontal rule. That is the straight line up here and then down. So I'm just going to include it here. So horizontal rule is HR. Okay. Then here to HR. All right. Are you seeing the lines?
Yes.
Okay.
You're seeing it.
Now, someone might ask, why is it that the H1, we have opening tag, we have a closing tag. The H3, like all of them have opening and closing, but we realize that the HR, the horizontal rule doesn't have any closing tag. So how would a person be aware of something like that? That too, you only find answers to that with or on the documentation. Okay, so when I check for horizontal rule, okay, HTML. The MDN is one of the documentations that you can use. There are other documentations. Okay, I'll show you the others shortly. Okay, so we have this HR. Okay, there's no closing tag. And you can even read it here. Tag omission must start. Okay, it must have a start tag, must not have an end tag. Okay, so documentation show you how to use the elements, what what is expected of you to make the thing work. Okay. There are other documentations like W3 schools. So when I search for W3 schools, yes, I see something like this. I'll just click on the first link. Okay, and because you are doing HTML, you can just click on the first one, which is HTML, or click here, like learn HTML. Okay, my network is quite slow, so it's taking some time. There's another one called devdocs.io. Okay, it's another documentation that you can use. Even that, it is more structured, like so HTML elements. It gives you all the elements available that you can use in HTML. Okay, so let's say we are using the HR, right? So this is HR. When I click on the HR, it gives me all the information that I need to know about HR. So I'm showing you all these documentations to make you aware that you are not stuck. Okay, anything that you can do is there. You can just Google it and then you'll be good to go. And the documentations are the perfect source for any programmer. Okay, it's a guide for you. This too, they tell you that the tag omissions, you don't need an end tag. Okay, so we get to know all this through the documentations. When we look at this design that we want to achieve, we realize that from the off, after the off, there's a break. Okay, so let me add a break. So this is the off. I'm adding breaks, but nothing happens. Why? Because this is not normal Word or any other like those kind of editors. Okay, this doesn't use the spaces for breaks. It has a special thing that it uses, which is the BR tag. Okay, so when I add the BR, it's also a self-closing tag. Now you see that it has moved to the next line. Okay, yeah. And one last thing to do is to center it. They are all in the center. So I'll just have to add it to the center here. So inside. Then I close it. So do you realize it's centered now? Hello?
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Have you gotten up to this point? Any questions?
Yeah,
No,
we are
please.
okay.
Okay. But when we look at, this is the actual work that we are trying to do. Do you see a difference? I'm trying to find, okay. Do you see a difference with the line? See, this is thick, like it's a bit thicker than this. The one we did is light. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So how do you achieve like the thick ones? When you have a website, okay, any website, you can right click and then go to the inspect. Okay, so when I click on inspect, it opens this thing for me. And I can see something here. The HR was horizontal rule. It's even highlighted here. So when I click on that, you see it's been highlighted here. And you see some things going on here, saying size is 3 and then no shade. So these things are attributes. Okay, and attributes gives more information to the browser to specify some modifications that we want the page or the element to have. Because we didn't specify any we didn't specify anything here. Like we didn't give it any specification. It's using the default style. Okay, but the attributes here is 3. So to achieve the same thing as we have here, we have to use a size of 3 and then no shade. So again, how will you know there's something like size in line and all that? Documentations can help us find all. So this is the HR, right? And when I check the attributes, I see align. So you can align your horizontal rules. You can change the color. So this is the shade. Shade sets the rule to have no shading. And then the size. Okay. So you get to know all these things through the documentation. So we can just add our size and then so size Z. Size is 3. And let's see any change that it makes. And then the no shade. So now the second line is very similar to, or is exactly the same as what we had here. Okay, so inspecting the pages helps you to know the kind of attribute that they are using to achieve anything that is on the page. I can do the same for this too. I'll just copy it and then paste it here. HR. Okay, so now we have an exact copy of what we wanted to do, right? Do you understand up to this part? Hello.
Hi. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
We are here.
Oh, okay, sure. Good. So the documentation, as I mentioned, we have the MDN, W3 schools, and then the devdocs.io. They are all very good sources that you can use. Okay. Now we are going to VS Code. So the challenge will be starting shortly. You can open your VS Code and then get ready. We are going to start the challenges very soon. Okay, so when I open VS Code, this is something that you should see. Okay, you just see this welcome screen. I hope you all have your VS Code installed.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to create a folder. You can create a folder anywhere, but I'm doing mine on my desktop. And you can name it anything, like web development. Okay. Wow. So here, the file, I'll just open folder. Okay. And because I stored it on my desktop, I'll go to the desktop and then select that. So select folder. Now the folder is being opened here. I can decide to create another folder or start with my files directly. But I prefer to create another folder inside that web development, and I'll name it like personal portfolio. So we are going to create something like STV. Okay. Then inside that, I'll have my index.js. Hey, index.html. Sorry. Hello.
Hi.
Oh, okay. I thought my network. So, do you have your folders now? You can create a folder and then inside it have your index.html. Okay. So I can do some things to get the code template that I need. Um, this and enter will give me some things. Okay. So you can try that here. Either you type HTML and then you click on the enter key, or HTML and then the tab key, or the exclamation mark enter. You can try any of these and you get this. So let me know when you have.
Yes.
Okay. So this is called the boilerplate. Okay. It is just like a code template. Okay. And I'm going to take you through what each of them does so that you know what you are doing. Sometimes people just type and they don't really understand what the thing is for. So the first one, this doc type HTML, is just to tell the browser that the version of HTML you are using. Okay, so we have older versions of HTML like HTML4 and all that. They all have different ways of telling the browser that this is HTML4. But the latest one and the one you are using is HTML5. Okay, so this first line is just to tell the browser that you are using HTML5. Okay, and the HTML tag, this is the opening tag, this is the closing tag. Okay, and then we have an attribute here, which is language. The EN means like English. Okay, so what this tag is just saying is everything inside will be HTML codes. Anything inside here will be HTML codes. And we have the head and the body. Okay, so that's what we have here. And inside the head too, you realize that we have the title. The title, okay, let's change this to say, you can write your name. So I'm writing my name, personal portfolio, Genesis personal portfolio. Okay. So when you run this like on the browser, you see your title. There are different ways to do that. You can install live. Wait. This is where I went to. here, this is the extensions. Okay, so when I click on the extension, you can look for wow, live server. Okay, my network is not very okay. Yes, you can look for live server, and then when you click on it, you can install it. Okay, I've already installed mine. That's why I don't see the install button. So you go to extensions, search for live server, and then you install. It doesn't take long, like less than a minute. Okay, so once I have that, I can just right click and then open with live server. Okay, so this is where the title is. You see what I typed at the title is showing here. That is where your title is. If if you don't want to install the live server, you can also right click and then copy path. Okay, when you copy the path, you can just create a new tab and then paste that path there. Okay, so it's the same thing, and then it will give you the title. So far we don't have any content. All the things in the body is what is shown here. But since we don't have anything in the body, we just have the title. So we are just seeing the title. Another way to run your program is you go to the file, like the folder you saved it, and then inside your the index.html, you can just double click it. Okay, and it gives the same thing. So there are 3 different ways that you can open your program. Okay, yeah. Yes, so you can run your code installing the live server, as I mentioned, or you copy the path and then paste it in the browser. Okay. So like I said, all the content of the page will be here inside the body. Okay, so now it's time for the challenge, almost time for the challenge. I'm going to show you the site that we would want to clone. So it's this. www.cs. Yes, this is the page. Okay, so we'll be trying something like this. Okay, but someone will be saying, why are you going to do something like this? This is so not cool. But I want to show you something. So it's called the Wayback Machine. Okay, but you can access it with Web Archive. Just type Wayback. Yes, Wayback Machine. Okay. Wow, it's taking some time to load. what I want to show is this is very cool. And in like the 19th century, this would be like the best work that everyone could ever do. Okay, but now because of CSS and all those styling things, it makes this look so some way. So I wanted to show you the how Yahoo looked, okay, when it was first published. But since the network is not really allowing me, I think we can continue. Okay, Yahoo. Okay, so I'll just continue. When it's loaded, then I'll show it to you. Okay. Yes. But can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
Yes, please.
So are you ready for the challenges? We are about to start the first challenge. The first
Yes.
challenge is, yes, are you ready?
Yes, please.
Okay, so it's loading. I want to show you the Yahoo. Okay. So we can go ahead when it comes. Then you know how Yahoo looked when it was first published. Then you know what you're about to do is way more better than what they did. Okay, so it's just a matter of time, and we'll be doing great things. So the first challenge is that you're going to add a level 1 heading containing your name to the body, and we have a minute to do that. So you can start, and at 1 minute, we just continue. Are you done? Yes. So this is how Yahoo looked like when it was first published. So you get why we are doing this for the start now. Okay. Who is done with the first challenge? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Wow. Can we continue? Are you done? So what you are going to do is just add a level 1 heading, which means H1. Okay. And then it's going to contain your name. So I'm writing my name here. So then also then I save. Okay. Because I closed it, I can just run into. So now I have this. This is the first challenge. I hope you've all been able to do it. Can we continue?
Yes, please.
Okay. Please try to participate, okay? Because after it, we are going to publish the site and you'll be required to send the link to the group page. So please try as much as possible to participate. Okay, so the second challenge. This is what I'm going to do. You are going to add a paragraph tag displaying what you do. So something like maybe you are the founder of a company. So you can just write something like that. So add a paragraph tag displaying what to do. Find out using Google how to italicize the text. Sorry. So we have 2 minutes for that. And if you are done, you can take a snapshot of it and send it to the group page so that you know how it's going. Okay. So just 2 minutes and then we solve it. Okay, so I think the time is up now. So adding the paragraph tag, it's a P tag. Okay, so P. And then what you do, let's say founder and CTO. Okay, so this is the first part. Um, wow. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Wow, sorry, I was on mute. I didn't know. But are you done with the second challenge?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So use a P. Okay. So in case someone doesn't know, you can just search. Okay. So you are doing a paragraph. You want to write a paragraph in HTML. So paragraph HTML, and then you can add um, the documentation that you want to use. You can use W3 Schools, any of them. So you get to know from here that paragraph tag is a P. Okay. So that's why we need the documentation. It helps us in everything that we want to do. You see, there are examples, and then they tell you that both the start tag and then the end tag is needed. So you can't, it's not a self-closing tag. Then you know how to go about it here. Okay. And the second thing was to find out how to italicize a text. So let's try that. Okay. When we searched for this, we are given two things. We have the EM, the emphasis, and then we have the I. So let's try both and see what each is doing. Because we search for how to italicize and we are getting two things. So the EM, it marks the text and stress emphasis. Okay. We get to know that from here. And with the example they give, see the heart, it's all slanted, okay, but the EM is giving more emphasis. When you check the I, it does the same thing, but it doesn't give more importance as the EM does. Okay, so when you read this, you get to know that it just beautifies the text. It doesn't do anything, but the EM shows that the text is very important. Okay, so now that we know how to make our text slanted, we can just add it. Say you want to add it to this part, maybe the company that you are working in or something. So I'm just going to bring the emphasis here, the EM tag. Then I'll cut this and paste it inside. Okay, so when I save and then, so you can see this part is a bit slanted as compared to the rest. Yes. Also, there's this strong and bold. It's very similar. Strong gives more emphasis, more importance than the bold. So we can try that too. So when I searched for that, I saw the strong and then the bold. So today's class is basically to tell you that documentations are very, very, very necessary. And anything that you are doing, just check documentations and you'll be very fine. Okay. So the strong, it indicates strong importance, seriousness, or urgency. Okay. And then the bold will just style it, like it will make it bold. Okay. So this is an example. Never fed him after midnight. You see, it's giving more importance. So it's showing that this part is important. And when you check the board, it does the same thing, but it doesn't give much importance as compared to the strong. So it just used to draw the reader's attention. It would be bolding, all right, but it doesn't give much importance. Do you get it? Hello.
Please.
Okay.
Yes,
So
please.
I can decide to add my strong tag here. You can have nested loops, like nested. So let me just cut this and then bring it here. What this thing is going to do is it's going to make it strong and then it's going to make it slanted or emphasized. Okay, so you can have these, like you can mix them. You can have plenty tags nested together. So when I check the site, now it's bolding and then it's still slanted, right? Giving more emphasis. So are you all done with the challenge too?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So I'm moving on to the third challenge. You're going to add a paragraph tag displaying your bio. So this is simple. We already know how the paragraph tag works. That's the P tag. So you can give any bio that you want to give. Yeah. Okay, so let me do mine here. It can be anything that you want to add. Okay, so mine is just I love coffee and then reading. But that reminds me, I didn't really talk about the meta, right? So let's take
Yes.
just some 2 minutes to do that, and then we can continue with the challenges. So what the meta does is that it gives extra information or extra data to the HTML document. Okay. So this first one, you see character set UTF-8. It's just saying that it uses UTF encoding. Okay. And then the UTF encoding is very similar to the Unicode. So when this site, Unicode table.com, yes. Okay. So these are the valid characters, okay, that you can add in your site. Okay, that's why we are using the UTF-8 here. There are a lot of metadata and what they do. This one, for instance, is to make a site responsive. Okay, you can search on the meta and then what they do. They have the description and all that. So this part, you can add emojis to your site, okay, using because you are using the UTF-8, you can add anything. So I can just copy this. So copy. And then instead of the I love coffee, I can just bring the emoji and it works just fine. Okay, let me go to the site and you see. So it shows there. You can, and anything UTF-8 will be rendered for you. Okay, so the next challenge, we are going to add horizontal rule. So below this, your bio, you are just adding horizontal rule. So who can tell me the tag to use?
The HR tag.
The HR tag.
HR.
And is it self-closing or have to do something like this? Is this right?
It is a
Self-closing.
Yes, so I don't need this. Okay, yes, that's good. It means you are following. So when I check the site now, I'm supposed to see my horizontal rule. Yes. So the next challenge, we are going to add a level 3 heading called projects. And then you are going to list the projects you've worked on in bullet form. Okay, so after adding the project you've worked on, then you just add another rule. So we have 2 minutes to do this. Okay, are we done?
Yes, please.
Good. So what we were expected to do was heading 3, which is H3. Okay, and then you're going to name it projects. And the second one was list the projects you've done in bullet form. Well, what if I don't know how to list things in bullets? So I can just
Yes.
use my documentations too. So bullet and then HTML. You can use any other documentation aside the MDN, but I just like using MDN. So you can see the UL, and they are saying on ordered list. Okay, and then there's OL, which is ordered. So let's take a look at both of them and see how it works. Okay. So with the unordered list, we have the UL and then the closing. So it's opening and close. And within it is the list item that you want. Okay. But this, you can have nested um, items inside. So like list 1, list 2, like 1, 2, and then under the cheese, they have this. So you can have nested things. Okay. Um, these are other examples. So now we know how to do the bullet, right? From this, we know that these are bullet points. Let's check the ordered list to see how it works also. So ordered list is very similar to the unordered list, but instead of the UL for unordered list, the ordered list is OL. Okay, so just the OL and then the list items within it. Okay. And when they did this, see, it gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like in that order. It's ordered. That's why it's called ordered list. Let's scroll down and see. Okay, so you're finding something interesting here. We see type of I. Okay, and this was the outcome. So you can actually define how you want it to be. If you don't want it to be 1, 2, 3, you can just add the type and then how you want it to be. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to, we were asked to do unordered list, right? So wait, where's my, I think I've, okay, let me just space it nicely a bit. So the unordered list, inside it, you have the list items. So let's say project car car washing something. Maybe you've done a project about car washing, something like that. And another project, let's say painting house, or like anything that you want for now. And we can have another one like what? Okay. So these are the projects that I have. When I save it and then now I can see that I have my projects and then the bullet point with the project that I've done so far. Okay. And the next thing was to add a horizontal row. So I'm just going to add it here. HR. Okay. So now you're expected to see another row here. This is the next challenge. Add a level 3 heading called hobbies. Okay. But list your hobbies in an ordered manner. Use Roman numerals. So when we were looking at this, we found how to do that. So this should be very simple. Can we use like a minute or two to finish this? So I want you to do it on your own first before we do it together. That's why I give some few minutes for you to do. Okay, so you have a minute to finish this. Yeah, adding level 3 heading called hobbies and then Roman numerals to state your hobbies. Yes, are we done now? Okay. So heading 3 hobbies and then using Roman numerals, which is an ordered list. So instead of the UL, I'm going to use OL, which means the ordered list. Okay, then I'll have my list items, hobbies, like let's say singing, and which hobby. So you can add any hobby that you have. Okay, but this will make it 1, 2, 3. That is the default. Because we don't want 1, 2, 3, we can change it. You can give it type, and these are the types available. So you can make it capital A, capital B, C, or lower cases A, B, C. You can make it I, like the Roman numerals. But you can try both, like any of them, to see how it looks like. So I did the A. We have A, B, C. You can try type of the capital A. And now you have A, capital B, C. Okay, so anyhow you want, you can specify it like that. And the last thing was to add the HR. It's just to separate it so that it doesn't look too packed. Okay, so I'm having my HR tag here. Yes. But is everyone getting it? Any issue so far? Is everyone okay?
Yes.
Everything is clear.
Sure. So we are going to learn how to insert images or add images to our site. Okay. So there are two ways. You can get an external image. You can use a local image. Okay. So let me see if I'm popular like that on Google. I can just type my name and then search for any email, like any image of myself. Okay, so I found one. Okay, so I can just use this and I'll go to copy image address. Okay, so I've copied the image address and we are going to add it on top, like here, below the body. Image is also a self-closing tag. Okay, how do I know that? Through documentation. So I have my image HTML and I can choose MDN. Okay, so they explain what the image tag does, and they are saying it embeds an image into the document. Okay, so it will just add the image to your document. And there are two very important things that, or attributes that you need to add to your image element. Those are the source. The source is the SRC, okay, and then the alt is alternative text. So in case the image is not showing, the alt message will show. Do you get it? Okay, let's try it. You understand it. So inside the tag, I have my SRC and then the alt. So the alt can be like maybe my profile picture or something. And then the source inside here, the link that I copied, I'll just paste it inside here and save. So when I check the site now, now I can see the image here. Okay. You can also decide to use a local image. So I have one of my images here. So I can just move it like that. Okay. So once I have my image in the working project, I can change this to, because it's inside the same folder, I'll just use Benes.png. Okay, let me save it. Okay, so this is the alt, you see. Because the image didn't show, I'm seeing the alt. So let's see why the image is not showing. Oh, okay, so it's outside the folder. It's supposed to be in it. Okay, let me just cut it because it's giving and paste in here. Okay, so now I have the image inside that. So I can have my SRC and then give it that same path and hopefully it should work. Yes. So see. Now I have this image. Okay. I didn't use CSS to design it or anything. There's a site where you can make your picture circular. Okay. Because I'm doing pure HTML, I didn't want us to use any CSS thing. So this is the site. You can upload your image and then you download a rounded image of anything that you want. So it is scrubcircle.imageonline.co. Okay, so you can try that out. Okay. All right. So do you all have your images attached?
Not yet, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. So a minute will do. You don't need to make it circular now, like going to the site and all that. You can use any image for the meantime. Okay, so later you work on that. So can we continue?
Yes, please.
This is anchor tag. Okay, it's used to link things. So say you go to any site. When you click on about, it takes you to about. When you click on this, it takes you to that. Okay, those things are achieved using the anchor tag, and this is the way of writing it. Okay, but the best way to check is so we have the A tag anchor. Yeah, it also takes two attributes. Okay, or you can just take one. Yes, even one. Just the href. The href is where you should point to, the link it should go, and then you give it the test. So that test will be highlighted. So something like this. We have website, and then it's going to this site, example.com. So when I click on the website, it's supposed to take me to example.com. You see, and then the mail to, we have mail to that opens your default mailing app. Okay, and then we have the telephone tool that you can. Okay, so let's try the anchor tags. Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually going to do this challenge 7 to explain the anchor tag into detail so that the next challenge you'll be able to do it on your own. So I'm going to create a new file, okay, in the same folder called hobbies.html. We don't want our hobbies to be here. We want it to go to a different page. Okay, so I'm going to create a new file and then we copy everything to that. So inside here, I can just create a new file and then name it hobbies.html. Okay. And the default thing, you can use this. I like using the exclamation mark. The hobbies, you can, the title, I can just name it like my hobbies or something. Yes. So inside the body, I just copy it. No, I'll cut it because I don't want it to show there. Okay. So I can have H3 and then my hobbies. Okay. So now when I go to the site, I just see the hobbies. I don't see anything else. And I can't click because I've not made it clickable yet or anything. So inside the index.html, let me remove this. Or you can comment it. Okay, this is a good time to talk about commenting. What you can do is the text that you want to comment out, commenting, the code will not print it out. It's mostly used to make your code readable. So let's say I'm creating something, this part, a project. So I can write project part or something. So project, okay. And when I highlight and then press control and then the slash / it makes it a comment, okay? Or you can manually do it yourself by doing this and the exclamation mark dash dash, okay? And then it's give you can write anything as a comment. It can be multiple lines, anything, okay? So here I just want to link the hobbies to this part, and it's done with the anchor tag. Inside it, I want to write my hobbies so that they will know it's something like hobbies. So when I click on it, it will take me to the hobbies. And I need href. The href is what the destination it should go. I just wanted to go to my hobbies.html. Okay, so when I save this, now when I click, it takes me to my hobbies. Okay, do you see that? Hello.
Hi.
Yes. So I was asking if you be able to do. When I click, it takes me
Yes,
to
yes.
the. Okay. So the next challenge for this challenge, I've done it for you. Okay. So the next challenge, you're going to create a new file called contact.html, and then it should have your contact details. So a minute can be okay. So let me start. I have I'm creating a new file called contact.html. Okay, and it's the same code template that I'm going to use every time. That's why you don't really need to write it anytime. You can just use these shortcuts to get a template. Okay, it saves time. So the contact me. Someone can decide to use paragraph. Let's say P, um, your email, like your email address or something. So then at gmail.com, something like that. And then let's say the telephone number. Okay. Someone can decide to do this. It's fine. But there's a standard way of doing this too. So I can just do address HTML. So the contact address element. This is one way of doing it. So you have your address tag, opening and closing. And then inside it, you can link the person to either your email or let's say your telephone, anything that you want the person to do. So I think we can try this instead of just using the p tags, right? So commenting this out. And then I have my address. Inside the address, I have the a. This can be. Are you asking a question? So href, you just do the mail to. So what mail to does, I think I explained earlier, is that it will open your default emailing app that you have. Okay. Let me quickly do this. And let's say your contact is something like that. Then href. That will be tell. and then the number. Okay, yes. So let's save and see what happens. Obviously, nothing will happen because we've created a new file. The index.html is not aware of that. So even when I check, oh, I closed it. Okay, I can just open again. So there's no trace of the contact me page here. What I can do is just I can duplicate this, and the way I did that was it makes working easier. Okay, so Shift Alt and then the arrow down key. So Shift Alt arrow down. It will give you as many as you want. You don't have to like retype everything or that. Okay, so this hobbies I can change it to contact, right? And here I can just say contact me. So I've saved that. And now I can see contact me. So one thing about links is that when you've already clicked on it, it changes color to something like purple. But when it's not, you've not clicked on it before, it's blue. Okay. So when I click on my contact, I just see this. Okay. I can make it a bit nicer by adding something like an H3 saying contact me, something like that. And maybe adding a line break. Okay, so we talked about line breaks, which is a BR, to move it to the next page or the next line, sorry. Okay, so I think this is okay, like it's better than earlier. Now I'm going to talk about tables. And tables gives layout in HTML, okay, and then it represents data in a table, like as it suggests. So let's just see how tables are. So tables HTML. Okay, so it's not a self-closing tag. Okay, it has the opening tag, it has the closing tag, and then inside a table you can have a table header or the table head and then the table body. Okay, but let's just try some. You can still do it without the table head, table body. Okay, so something like this. The table row is this row. Okay, so this row, and then the TD is a table data. Okay, TD means table data, and the first cell is taking John, the second is taking the do. Okay, so let me try giving an example. Maybe you will get it. Okay, so we are going to use tables to do this. I'll do this challenge to explain the tables in details. Okay, before there'll be another question on table, so you can try it on your own afterwards. So what you want to do is that you want to maintain the image on the left, and then the about section will be on the right. So something like, did I give? Okay. So index. Okay. So let me have my table here. I can have my small table here, and then the table row. So because I want it to be on the same row so that it would be just opposite each other, I'll need just one table row, and then the table data would be 2. So the first data that I want is the image. So I'll just cut it and then paste it in here. And below it, I have another table data. Okay, and I want all of these to be in that. So I'll just select all, cut it, and then paste it in here. Do you understand? Let me show.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so now we have the image on the left, and then the text is just opposite it. But this is too close to it. And when we check the documentation, we get to know some attribute that can help us space. Yes. So you can see these symbols because they are not really in use nowadays because of the CSS and all that. But because we are just doing HTML, we are going to use them. Okay. Let's take the cell spacing. Okay, we are going to use the cell spacing on the table here. So cell spacing, let's set it to like 20. Okay. And now we see some space. There's some small space, and I think this is okay done when it was so close to it. Okay. So do you understand the tables?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. So we are going to the next challenge. Okay. First is to add a level 3 heading called skills. And then it must look like something on the next. Okay. So I'm going to create something like this. Okay. We will not make it too long like this. Let's say something small. But before that, how to include the emojis. Okay, so I'm just going to take you through how to include the emojis. You can just click on, let me go back. So click on any space on the tags bar, okay. Then you can see this, show touch keyboard button. So click on that. This, okay. When you do, you see this icon here saying touch keyboard. So you click on that touch keyboard. Okay, and then you can see emojis here. Okay, you can use it anywhere. So let's say even in your search browser, in anywhere you want to use it, you can. So here I can, you see, so you can use it virtually like anywhere you want to use it, you can do. So you want to create a skill and then add stars to the skills. So let me quickly do that so we can. Okay, yeah. So let me have my H3 here, which would be skills. Okay. And to make something like that, I need a table. Okay, so I have my table. The table has rows. So depending on the number of rows I want, I can just do it. So CD, like say JavaScript. And then the second one can be, it can be the rating. So I'll just open this and then look for the star. I think it's the, yes. So this is my star. I just use it there and I can copy it and then make it more. So let's say I have 5 stars for JavaScript. Okay. And because of time, I'm just going to copy this and then paste it here. Here, I can change it to something like HTML. And it can have any number of stars that you want. Okay. And this can be like CSS or anything. And you give it any rating that you want. So when I save this and go to the page, you see the rating nicely here. Okay. So as a challenge, you can try it maybe after the section to get something like this. Okay, this is a nested table. So you can try to get something like this instead of this. Okay, so one, the skill and then the rating, skill rating, as we have here. Okay. The last thing I'm going to talk about before we host our website is forms. Okay. The last thing you're going to do is the forms. So when you check this part, the contact me, you just have your email and then your telephone number. What if the person wants to send you a message or anything? So we are going to briefly learn about forms. Okay. Yes, so you can use other documentations, like I said. So there's W3 schools, and this is a very simple form that you would want to, okay. With forms, the most common thing that you see is input tags, and then there's just inputs. Yes, you see lots of inputs. So they have the type of text, they have radio, checkbox. So you can be playing around with all of them. They have the colors, and so that you know which input tag to use when. Okay, that's why we need the documentation. Okay, so let's just create the form and then we'll close. Maybe the hosting can be another time because we are far behind. Okay, so in my contact, I want the form to be somewhere here. Okay, so the form has opening and closing tag. And inside it, I can have a label. So label will tell you what you're supposed to put there. So your name. And I have the input here, which is self-closing. and then the type, let's say test. Okay. Let me copy this, Control C. But so far, any question? Are you lost, or you're getting it?
Everything is clear.
Pardon?
Everything is okay.
Okay, that's good to hear. So you can have your form. You just have to check the documentation for the types. Okay, then you know which type to use when. Okay, they have different types that you can use. They have radio, checkboxes, all of that. Okay, so let me just add one more and then you can. So this is for the submit. Save. Okay, so you just see something like this. Name, can type your name. Password will be dot 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 because that is a standard. You don't want people seeing your password, and then you can submit. Okay, so I think that will be all for now, and you'll continue with the hosting another time. So, any questions? Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
Hi.
so I was saying that the hosting of the site, we can leave it for another section. But for now, do you have any questions so far with the tables, like all the things that you've done? Do you have any question?